Imagine a world where history is only a whisper, a fleeting story passed from one generation to the next. A world where the ideas of the past are not etched in stone or printed on paper, but exist only in the fragile, unreliable memory of a few elders. For thousands of years, writing has been the single most important invention in human history. It gave us a way to record our history, to share our knowledge, and to build civilizations that could outlast a single human life. It was the invention that transformed us from a species of simple storytellers into a species with a collective memory, a shared history, and a grand, impossible dream of a better future. But what if that invention never came to be? This isn't a simple tale of a world without books. It is a deep, unflinching look into a different kind of human history, one where our minds and our societies are fundamentally different, where the concept of progress is a foreign one, and where the course of human destiny was forever tied to the fleeting, unreliable nature of the spoken word. This is a story of living without memory. The most immediate and dramatic consequence of a world without writing would be a complete and utter stagnation of human knowledge. In our timeline, a scientist can build on the work of 1,000 others, a historian can study the lives of 1,000 generations, and a philosopher can debate the ideas of 1,000 years. In this alternate world, that knowledge would be lost forever. Every new discovery, every new idea, and every new piece of wisdom would have to be passed down orally, from one person to the next. The vast majority of that knowledge would be lost, corrupted, or forgotten over time. The concept of a university, of a library, and of a collective human memory would be a foreign one. Humanity would be a species of perpetual amnesia, forever trapped in a cycle of rediscovery and forgetting. The global economy would be a beast we can barely comprehend. The very concept of a complex, interconnected economic system would be impossible. There would be no contracts, no ledgers, and no way to record and track the flow of wealth. The world would be a place of a simple, local, and a much more primitive economy, one that is based on barter and on a handshake. The concept of a global supply chain, of goods traveling across continents, would be impossible. The world would be a place of a much slower pace of economic progress, a place where a person's greatest wealth is not their money but their memory. The social and cultural implications would be monumental. The very concept of a nation-state, of a country united by a shared history and a shared sense of purpose, would be a foreign one. The world would be a place of 1,000 small, isolated tribes, each with its own history, its own customs, and its own oral traditions. The great works of art and literature, which are a reflection of a shared human experience, would be a distant fantasy. The world would be a place of a much more simple culture, one that is focused on the immediate needs of survival, not on the grand dreams of the human spirit. The history of the world would be a series of competing narratives, of 1,000 different versions of the past, all of which are impossible to verify. The political landscape would be a much different one. The concept of a powerful, centralized government would be impossible. There would be no written laws, no contracts, and no way to enforce a central authority over a large population. The world would be a place of 1,000 small, powerful kings, each with their own rules and their own laws. The concept of a single, unified empire, of a government that can command millions of people, would be a foreign one. The world would be a place of a constant, brutal struggle for power between 1,000 different tribes, each of which is fighting for control over the same small piece of land. But perhaps the most profound consequence of a world without writing would be on the human soul. The ability to write gave us a sense of permanence, a sense of our own immortality. It allowed us to believe that our ideas, our words, and our lives would outlast us. In a world without writing, that sense of permanence would be absent. Humanity would be a species of a profound sense of impermanence, a species that is forever at the mercy of the passing of time. The human spirit, which in our world is a force for rebellion, for freedom, and for change, would be crushed by the constant weight of a world that is always forgetting. So, in the end, what if humanity never discovered writing? The world would be a more brutal, a more primitive, and a much more boring place. We would lose the collective memory that writing provides, the shared history that unites us, and the hope of a better future. We would gain a world of perpetual amnesia, a world of a constant struggle for survival, and a world of a profound sense of stagnation. It would be a world that is a living, breathing testament to the immense fragility of humanity, a world that is a constant, terrifying reminder of what happens when a species, with its immense potential and its childish squabbles, finally gets what it wants. The what-ifs are endless. We've explored a world without writing, but what other invention do you think has had the greatest impact on human history? Do you think a world without a collective memory would be a more peaceful one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to keep exploring how our world could be different, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Timeline Shift, and get ready for our next adventure.